A group of volunteers concerned about the lack of legal services available to low-income people began meeting, talking, seeking ways to help. By 1956, the meetings became regular events. Families and individuals were finding access to legal services, and an organization known as Legal Services of Northern California was born. 50 years later, here's what community leaders are saying.
And the very definition of community is to help people do things they cannot do alone. Legal services helps people who are helping themselves but can't do it all by themselves.
The federal government required a percentage of McClellan Air Force Base be used to solve the homeless problem when it closed. This was an opportunity to develop the final tier of the agency's transitional living facility.
This particular project stopped unraveling when legal services showed up. The tenor of the conversation changed once you get the kind of technical and logistical support that only legal services can offer projects like this.
The paperwork and negotiations seemed to just keep coming. Legal Services of Northern California provided support in negotiations, drafted documents, and stewarded forms that yielded an agreement.
And so it was a highly technical, highly complicated, and really just conflicted in terms of the economic benefits. Who was going to benefit from the conversion of 3,000 acres of prime real estate in the middle of Sacramento County? And so it really took the Legal Services of Northern California to really tease through all the issues, to really provide us with the support that we needed to make our claim.
New life and development brought renewed economic vigor to the community.
The most interesting thing about these projects is everybody, before you open them, hates them. And then after we open, everybody, literally every one of our adversaries becomes an ally. And that's really an education process, because it's a fear of the unknown. They would never have had a chance to find out that these projects don't ruin their neighborhoods, that poor people can improve their lives if they have the chance. That's a big if.
I was brought up, in a pretty, I would say, leave it to beaver family, middle class. Parents weren't alcoholics, no drug abuse. I wasn't molested. So my background was basically growing up a good kid. Through some bad decisions on my part and some alcohol and drug abuse, I committed some white-collar crimes and ended up in Folsom Prison.
Building complexes such as Quinn Cottages provides long-term solutions to the homeless problem.
I learned about Quinn Cottages through someone I met at an NA function. I came to visit one time and I fell in love with this place. Legal Services in Northern California did most of their legal work for Quinn and for McClellan. Now, if it wasn't for the legal work being done, places like Quinn wouldn't be here. Everything else that I have picked up, it's like a snowball that I've accumulated going down the hill that makes my snow. It's just pluses. But that's something that I've got from working on this program and giving back to the community. I mean, there's a place to get a new beginning. It's your own little place, and through my background and knowing that where it took me, people say, oh, they're kind of small and you've got to do this. And it's like, small, I left 8x10 cell, and this to me is fantastic. If I did learn anything by my prison experience, it was to be grateful for what I have today. I'm not any better than the guy that's out that gate right now pushing that shopping cart. I've just been given the opportunity. You go from being homeless to a recovery home to a place like Quinn, and then Quinn, it's another step to where it'd be more of a permanent housing, and then eventually the overall goal would be to be totally self-sufficient and be off of everything. You get a rush when you see your neighbor, get a job or get their driver's license. It's exciting to see people move forward in their lives, and that's what you see here.
Thanks to Legal Services and their support, we now have plans to build 80 brand new housing units with our partner Mercy Housing, California, at a separate site, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom units for families that really cannot afford housing literally in this community right now. But more importantly than that, it's going to take 4 years to build that housing, and so with Legal Services support, we've secured the rights to use these 40 units here on an interim basis, so families have housing now even as we're building the new housing. Legal Services is now involved in negotiating the settlement agreement that will tie up the site. Legal Services is helping us incorporate a new subsidiary organization that helps us establish a new entity that will oversee that site. And Legal Services will now start working with the families here who are going through family reunification, getting their children back from Child Protective Services and the whole foster care system.
70% of the people living at transitional living facilities complete job training and rehabilitation programs. When they leave, they're prepared to take the next step towards independence.
Sacramento Valley Organizing Community, in conjunction with Legal Services, believes in family building. And that's what this project here is about. We believe it's crucial. If we want our communities to be better, we have to take stock in them. Legal Services graciously opened up their doors and provided that, because I'm of the mindset, and several leaders were, we did not want just Mickey Mouse information coming from someone. We wanted legal advice where we could stand on it. Legal Services, with its reputation throughout the state of California, has been excellent in providing that.
It isn't unusual for a project to come to a standstill and remain that way. The business advice that project leaders received from Legal Services of Northern California prevented cost overruns and work stoppage.
This project ran into a snag. The contractor, who was unwilling to pay 10% retention fee, which was a requirement by the banking institution, said that he would not do that. And if that was to take place, if we demanded that, then we would have to deal with his attorneys. The most important thing out of all of that is that the project goes on. We have 15 families who are already ready to move into the homes once they are erected, and that snag is no longer a snag. And so we were concerned basically for the families. It is home ownership. That's the positive thing about this. And to have a buy into the country or to this community just makes it a little bit brighter and brings hope to a lot of other individuals.
There are so many stories that I could tell about Legal Services and their involvement with us. They have gone above and beyond the call of duty, I believe. In fact, there was one meeting that we had, I think that would be probably acrimonious, with folks from the Preservation Society who were not really forthcoming with us. And they wanted a second meeting with us. And I asked Legal Services to attend that meeting. And Legal Services came out in the rain and for this meeting, and it didn't happen. And we were prepared to go forward. And then when the meeting happened for the second time, the same group came up with another excuse, and they could not make it. The Legal Services kept coming. In the final analysis, the meeting did happen, and they were able to keep the conversation in a very civil manner, and we were able to get some common ground. And also we met with members of the City Council to help us to resolve the matter.
Legal Services of Northern California supported the church in negotiations and drafted agreements. Thanks to Legal Services, a blighted building was preserved for low-income housing.
Our legal problems with the city, we had a house that was vacant. It was in a residential community, and the church is not in a position of being a landlord of the property. We were in a catch-22 position because we could not demolish it, and we didn't have the funds to restore the property. The city was levying fines against us. The neighbors were up in arms with us for not taking care of the property, and we weren't able to do anything about it. Due to the intervention of Legal Services, we were able to obtain someone to help us in that dilemma.
By sharing knowledge, we empower teenagers to take charge of their lives. Our outreach programs are aimed at preventing crisis among youth who feel the effects of poverty more than any other population we serve.
I think that the street law program is a great way to speak with teenagers, especially at-risk teenagers. Some of the issues that we talk about are teen pregnancy, drug-related issues, dating violence issues. A lot of these kids were in foster care. Other kids had problems getting child support. They're very eager to learn. They're very receptive. So just a lot of really serious issues facing kids, educating teens on their rights under the law.
Legal Services has helped us a great deal in putting our vision together. They've actually helped us incorporate into a legal entity that allows corporations and businesses and local government agencies to now contribute financially to the efforts that we have in the community.
Community leaders had a vision to literally boost their economy from the ground up. Leaders planned a job training program, a computer academy, a recreational gym, and a senior housing complex.
We're utilizing the community garden as a model for starting a business. The students are learning what goes into starting the community garden. They're learning what's going on to maintain it, as well as what they need to do in order to take the product, which is going to be organic vegetables that they're growing here, learn how to market those and sell them at various farmers markets. From it, they'll learn how to start a business, how to maintain a business, as well as how to market and take the products, goods, and services that they produce to the consumer.
Well, first, when we started in the garden, we would have to get a vision of how the garden would look. But everybody really didn't think that this would be a garden until we started putting pieces together and understanding more on how to work a garden. And now after we start digging, and everything seems like it's coming together more, and so now I think we might be able to do it.
Nothing gets done in this town without legal services.
We believe in not trying to impress people, but we do believe in making an impact, and the impact is something that's permanent and lifelong.
I owe my life to Quinn Cottages, and the opportunity here is just, like I said, I would have nothing. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
I found them to be very professional, and the caliber of service we received was outstanding.
Empowering people and communities to overcome poverty exemplifies the spirit of Legal Services of Northern California. Join our team and invest in a brighter future for our communities. It takes teamwork, vision, technical expertise, and business savvy to create lasting economic change. Your commitment will help provide one more long-term solution.